så vacker han blev. Beautiful. Beautiful horse, and with a saddle, looks like a real stock horse. So we'll just let him move around a little bit. This is the very, very first time that we put a saddle on him, but if you put a good foundation on him, it should not be that big of a problem. Sometimes they can crow hop a little bit, even though he's 15 and saddled a lot before, but sometimes they can crow hop because of the back cinch. So that's why we put the saddle on here in the outdoor arena, so that if he wants to crow hop a little bit because of the back cinch, which he didn't, he's in a safe spot, so to speak. We do not put a saddle on him in the barn the very first time. So I'm just going to let him move around a little bit, and then we'll bring him out, and I'll mount him and I'll go for his first ride. So let me just move him around a little bit. I'll also ask him to trot. See, because sometimes they do not crow hop at a walk, but if I ask him to trot, they can crow hop.
because he lacks a lot of muscle in the back. But we can also see that I can just call him to me and he follows me without a halter and lead rope wherever I go. So this is beautiful. But as we can see, well, first we see how nice he is. I can call him to me. He follows me. Everything becomes so easy. No problems. But we can also see that the saddle is sliding forward. And part of that is because he lacks still a lot of muscle here on both sides of the spine. I do feed him a lot of, of course, vitamins, minerals, trace elements, oil, alfalfa, Lusitano, beet pellets. But I can't force him to eat more than he does, so even the last meal today, he didn't eat it all, but he can basically eat as much as he wants. And of course, they have free access. They can eat hay 24/7. They got a shitload of hay up there. But this is about more nutrition and protein and stuff, but also proper riding, where the horse is not like this, but like that. So they don't walk like this, but like that. So that's good enough. Now I'm going to bring him up to the barn here, get on him on the logging road, and we'll go for the first ride. Okay, see you in a bit.
Okay.
So before I get on him, I usually test. See there? That's really good. Really, really good. He gave me the nose, because that's one of many important things, that they give me the nose. So here with my ring finger again, it's not mechanical, it's not brute force, it's stimuli at the right moment and stop the stimuli at the right moment. He's somewhat stiffer here on the left side, but that's pretty common. So here I just, there, okay. Now, but he gives the nose, so let me just go get some chair. So it's not, of course, that I cannot get on the horse without a chair, and especially this guy, but anything I can do to make their life easier, better, I will use a chair. And I'll also step up here on his right, because chances are nobody ever mounted him on his right side. So, whoops. So I'll just stand here, and then I'll just follow him. So, just make sure he's nice and calm. And of course, only put my toe in there. Because obviously we do not want the horse to have a negative experience. So I just follow him. He's just a little he gets a little insecure because, like I said, most likely he's never been mounted from the right. So we're not in a hurry, and there are times that I won't mount them, even though I planned on that, because they're a little insecure, depending on the personality and what they have been through. And of course, this guy is 15 years old, from Southern Europe, and I have been in Southern Europe, and I can truthfully say that what I've seen, and I've seen a lot in Southern Europe, and I've never seen anybody that I would allow to touch my horses, or even, you know, just take care of them for a while for some reason, because they are not very nice to the horses. So, but as you can see, I don't make a big deal out of it. Oh, it's just a tractor. I don't make a big deal out of it, and certainly do not, so to speak, punish a horse for doing what he does now. A horse can never do wrong. Horses just do what horses do. And this is his previous life before he even came to the northern hemisphere. That is now making itself known. But we're not in a hurry. Like I said, there has been times where I've planned to mount the horse, but because of the background, because we don't want to scare the horse. We want him to preferably have a positive experience, and also that I do not get mad at him for doing what he does, because he's just still a little bit insecure. He's fine from the ground now. I can park him loose, no halt or lead rope. I can run around and dance and jump. Even several of us surrounding the horse, I can use the lunge whip, not on the horse of course, but around the horse, and make sounds, and he's perfectly fine. And I can also run around him with a huge thick plastic transparent tarp, and over him and all over the place, and he just stands there on 3 legs, calm. But now he has a saddle on, and some of his memories come back, and he's just a little bit insecure. So, but we're not in a hurry. It's better to do this and not go for a trail ride today, the first time, because we don't want to, well, basically, we don't want, the horse decides preferably when to go on. So I just go with him, and I just ignore him. I don't make a big deal out of it. big deal out of it and get pissed off at him and, so to speak, punish him for doing something that he doesn't even understand that he's doing wrong. And also, from all the places, all the people I've met in Southern Europe, well, I don't think I've ever seen a people so brutal and so deliberately brutal. Maybe the word is psychopath, because they're fucking nuts down there. Of course, I'm sure there are people that are not, but all the people that I've been to, all the barns I've seen, they would not be allowed to even go near one of my horses. So I can kind of understand where this guy comes from. So we'll just work at it. See there, a little bit better. See, I wasn't gonna hurt you. No. See, move the. There you go. You can see better. There we go. Ah, see? So as we can see, now he doesn't move away, because we have to understand the horse. A horse can never do wrong, and he's not moving away because he's an asshole, because no horse was born an asshole. He's not moving away because he's saying fuck you. Absolutely not. He's just honestly still a little bit insecure, and this is not the first time, and unfortunately probably not the last time, because pretty much always when in Europe I get to take care of the horses, reschool them when nothing else, so to speak, works. So to me, even though he now has been through the groundwork program and he works perfectly from the ground, but had I tried this without putting the horse through the groundwork program, just first time I met him, just slap a saddle on him and try to get on, especially on the right side, then it would have been a totally different ball game. But now, because I put him through the groundwork program, we then have a different angle, so to speak, where I can, so to speak, attack the problem. Here comes another horse. That's fine. Kom nu bara. So here comes a friend. And I just follow him around. So this is a good disturbance, because the horse needs to be able to work no matter what. Well, so that was the neighbors. Like I said, that was the neighbors. That has nothing to do with us here. But that was a good disturbance, because obviously a horse, we cannot say, well, my horse I can't ride him or do anything with him or her because it doesn't matter what happens around. There could be 20 riders or driving horses, or I often ride the horses and school them in the big pastures with the other horses running around and playing, and when I start trotting and loping especially, it's quite common that the rest of the herd, they want to lope with us. So it's a big, like, horses running around, but the horse I'm riding must still so to speak work. So there now, he's starting to see that nothing dangerous is going to happen just because I'm here on the right side of him. So here we can see if we take the time and let the horse, so to speak, absorb it and think about it instead of rushing. We don't want to rush. I'm just gonna move up here a little bit. So it's nothing unusual that I have a plan. For example, like this, I'm gonna go riding, whether it's the first time or whatever time, but then the horse starts doing something like he does now, and there might not be either trail ride or any schooling of the horse on the saddle out there in the pasture because we ran into an issue. So then we have to forget about the trail ride or the schooling, because now we have to address the issue at hand. We have to solve one issue at a time. So there now, it worked fine. So let's try the other side a little bit. Let's try the left side. Because it, to me anyway, and a working horse, if this is my partner, this is my workmate, not my slave, not a walking dead zombie, not a machine, it's not a tool. It's a living creature, and they feel pain, stress, anxiety, etc., just like we do. So my job, my livelihood is to, round up wild cattle, cut a cow, rope a calf or cow bull to doctor them so we can give them a shot. Maybe they need something to save their life. Or I'm going to plow the field or pull timber. Someone paid me to move 100 tons of timber, but suddenly I can't because my horse will not stand still. He reacts to something because of his previous life before he even arrived in the northern hemisphere. So then I can't do the job. So the man or the woman who hired me to do whatever, of course they're not going to pay me because I can't do the job. Just like having a tractor. Well, I'm hired to do this with a tractor, but my tractor won't work, it won't start, or the hydraulics or whatever is messed up. So that's the way I look at it. So if you think like that, even if this horse is not going to be, he's not going to pull, you know, not going to move tons of timber, logs, he's not probably never going to rope a cow or cut a cow, or he's not going to go to war. I sure as hell hope not. But if you think like that, even if you're only a hobby rider, which is, of course, horses, what better hobby can you have than horses? So, because then life becomes so much better for the horse and for you as a human, because the horse is relaxed, he can stand still, and like I said, yes, through the groundwork program, and several of us dancing around him as if he was a Christmas tree, and he was standing down there in the barnyard, no halter, no lead rope, and I ran around with a lunge whip, not on the horse, but hitting the ground and waving it in the air, and that big, huge, thick, stiff plastic tarp, the transparent tarp, and he doesn't, you know, he actually falls asleep, but because of his background, like I said, before he even arrived in the northern hemisphere, now he got a saddle on, and I'm about to mount, because he had, of course, memories when I worked him from the ground, but he also has, of course, some memories, some baggage when it comes to saddle and someone mounting him. So, and there, of course, he's not supposed to walk off when I get on, but that's his previous life talking, so to speak. So I just don't, obviously he's not supposed to walk off without me asking him or wanting that. But if I make a deal like that, I can't ask for perfection. There he goes. You see, whose idea was this to stop? It was his idea. So if he walks off like he does there, okay, I just say, okay, I just sit back and say, yeah, you can, because he's not walking off because he's a bad horse. He's not walking off. The only reason why he walks off like that, because he needs to learn to wait for me to say, okay, buddy, let's go this way or this way, or. But the reason why he walks off is because he's been doing that for 15 years. Every time someone tried to mount him, they say, that's not important. They put a foot in the stirrup and throw themselves, and he's already, some horses are already jogging, they're trotting away. But in real life, the horse must learn that when I get on, they need to wait for me to open the front door. And I say, here, be my guest. Now we can take off. But no horse ever been trained by just sitting here holding, because the more I hold him, the less control I have. And as you can see, there's no bit. I have more control in this side pull than I have with a shank bit, because I know how to use it, and it's about signal, it's communication, not I put a a strong bit, something that will cause pain, so that I can hold him in place. It doesn't work. Believe me, I tried it 50 years ago, and it just ended up with me hitting the ground, my nose fucked up, I have false teeth here as a school kid. So I tried that, you know, with sharper bits and just try to force them. And the grown-up said, here, a rubber instead of these reins made out of basically cloth. Use these reins made out of rubber, and here you have some gloves with rubber here, so your reins won't slide, so you can hang on, so you can pull even harder. Well, I tried that, and like I said, I have false teeth, and my nose was fucked up. But I've also tried the other way around. It doesn't work. I can't buy the result with a carrot or, you know, candy. I tried that too as a young boy, a young man. It doesn't work. So here now, whose idea is it to stand still? It's his idea. And as we can see, he walked off, and I just fucking ignore him. I say, well, you can do whatever you want. If you want to walk off, just go. But not to the other horses or down there or down there. I suggest that we just do this. I'll just lean back as if I was a Harley Davidson rider. Make myself a little cumbersome. And I just keep him on a small circle. And eventually the horse is going to say, well, this is fucking boring. Shit. This is no fun at all. And I'm not gaining anything. So I think I'm going to stop. And as soon as he stops, I give him the head back. And that never happened. That's water under the bridge. Never happened. Because it can never be a revenge. Like, I get pissed off at the horse, so now I'm going to revenge. Retaliate, I guess is the word. So, see here now, because I spent a few minutes standing on the chair, especially on the right side, because he got a little bit, his head came up, and he was a little bit insecure, and because of his previous life. But look at him now. Look at how calm he is now. But had I thrown myself on and pretended I'm some fucking idiot cowboy in a Hollywood movie, he probably wouldn't be standing like this now. Maybe he had really tried to take off. But now, because I spent, even if it means spending an hour to get to this point, I'll spend 2 hours. I'll spend 3 hours. Do it once. Take the time it takes today. Do it correctly. The horse can never do wrong. So let's exaggerate then, and let's say 2 hours. I don't think I've ever spent 2 hours, but let's say 2 hours. What the hell does that matter? Because after 2 hours, the horse is like this. He stands still. He lowers his head. It's his decision. Because I try to use reverse psychology, which means, or manipulation, whatever you want to call it. So whatever the horse does, including standing still, I want it to be his decision. And right now it is his decision. He decided that walking around the chair in a small circle, nah, that's fucking boring. So I'm just going to stand here. And look at this now. Look at this now. So, and there has been times, horses, you know, I'm not going to do that now, but there has been times I said, okay, good enough. See, now his head drops. He's calm. I get off, take the saddle off, put him back in the pasture with the other guys. So it is kind of like the ultimate reward. It's kind of like whipped cream with sugar on top of your food. Extra reward that. Okay. When I relaxed, lowered my head and just parked my feet and see he's calm, he's soft. I get rid of that son of a bitch up there on my back, and he takes the saddle off, and I can go back to my mates. So we're not going to make a big deal out of this. This is the very, very first time that I mount this horse. So I'm just going to basically walk, possibly trot a little bit down there on the trail. So if you want to go down there and wait for me, you're welcome. Okay, be back later, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If not, nice knowing you.
Yeah.